distinguished rector, distinguished representatives of international institutions and partners, distinguished representatives of ministries and other state institutions, distinguished guests, dear professors, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to greet you most warmly in behalf of the Center of Excellence for Digitalisation of Microbial Food Safety Risk Assessment and Parameters for Accurate Food Authenticity Certification, FoodHub, and University of Donja Gorica. Food safety is the most important characteristic of food, and every year the interest of the population for this topic, as research shows, grows. Montenegro has a good food safety system, and its further improvements are possible only through joint cooperation of all stakeholders: institutions, competent institutions, consumers, producers, and scientific research community. Our today's gathering, as well as the planned intensive future cooperation, represent important steps that we will resolutely take with one important common goal: the goal of encouraging innovative and scientifically based development of the food sector, especially in the field of food quality and food safety. Today's gathering is a proof of our connection and a symbol of all joint activities on the way to creating an excellent environment in the food production chain and food safety system in our country. Only by working together, we can create an excellence. This gathering today is an indicator of our path to the history of the future. Piperi, Montenegro, economist, professor, rector, academic, innovator, founder and reformist, sportsman. I'm asking the esteemed rector, Professor Vukotic, to officially open this important day with his speech. Professor, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Dear colleagues, I salute you on behalf of UDG. I would like to send special greetings to our partners and associates from abroad. Also, I congratulate to the Center for Excellence of UDG and its director, Professor Aleksandar Martinovic, for taking the initiative to organize this roundtable and to realize it. I'm very pleased that at a young university such as UDG, don't forget, we are 11 years old, we have developed the field of food, nutrition, and food technology. We have established bachelor studies, master studies, and at that moment, we are in process of accreditation of PhD studies in the field of food technology, food safety, and ecology. Aside that, from that, we have a laboratory for food safety, and we are developing the Center of Excellence in the field, in this field. We have a big and strong cooperation network with prestige universities, as well as experts and professors from all over the world. We established cooperation not just with businesses and institutions from Montenegro. Moreover, we have a great cooperation with the region and the European Union. Currently, we are working on several international projects, and we are members of famous research consortia. Of course, what we find the most important are the human resources, which are being developed in this field of studies at UDG. Indeed, we already have young people at the faculty, as well as our graduate students who are also important part of UDG network. We, as UDG, don't separate from our students after graduation, nor do they separate from UDG. Thus, we create small galaxies, or in the vocabulary of computer scientists, computer tribes. Based on my brief review of our activities, you can sense two important characteristics of UDG which make a difference from other universities. First, openness of University of Donja Gorica. Second, visionary investment in staff. Openness makes us more confident. It eliminates the fear of provincial fear of the more developed countries. We, as UDG, have broken this fear. As we become aware that informatics civilization opens opportunities to small and local. Visionary investment in staff frees us from the blockade of uncertainty that the future brings. We develop young people on a philosophy not only to adapting to change, but adapting the change to themselves. In the first case, when you passively adapt to change, you are usually quite late. In the second case, you are adapting to the changes that are just looming. For us, the vision is not a look into the future, but a look from the future at us today. In such way, while looking from the future at us today, we see big changes in the field of food in the broadest sense, especially in the field of food safety. That is the reason why we, as university, are continuously investing in this field and are developing it a lot. From my point of view, in today's world, which is facing a global health, economic, social crisis, we must more think of Malthus' theory of population. His theory was focused primarily on the quantity of food, not its safety. He said that the population will grow by geometric progression, food by arithmetic, and that in that way the number of inhabitants exceeds the amount of food. Is a but, shishmish, which was a food to the first COVID-19 victim, one of the proofs for Malthusian theory. We must never forget the Black Death, which took away a third of population of the world in 14th century. In today's number, it means about 3 billion inhabitants. As well as the Spanish flu, which had more victims than the First and Second World War. Compared to this crisis, today's pandemic seems like a small catastrophe. But we will feel that bad effect for a long time. We have to understand that nothing will be the same as it was. I understand food safety in two contexts. First, the context of expertise and technology, and second, the context of understanding and bringing this problem into a broader socio-economic and political context. Pandemic has shown that we must invest more in this field, knowledge, technology, and human resources. Also, it is important to understand the broader context in order to understand deeply what we know and we think we know. This broader context is culture, and within it, anthropology, as one of the bases for education based on humanism, which will be the grounding for professional knowledge. Indeed, in order to understand the world which is evolving after the pandemic, we must primarily understand the world we live in today. Therefore, the topic of this roundtable, containing the word culture, promises a wide debate. I hope that this roundtable will contribute to future development of our Center of Excellence. The Center is an important part of strategy of development of UDG, and we are ready to invest in its further development. We are ready to invest in young human resources. In this field, hoping that our partners from abroad will help us in that through specialization of our students and researchers in their laboratories. Once again, welcome to UDG. I wish you a successful roundtable. Thank you.
She has worked in NGO sector, a business association, as an advisor and chair of the Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development. She represented the civil sector in the EU as a member of the EU-Montenegro Joint Civil Society Consultative Committee. She's a director of the Directorate for Food Safety, Veterinary and Phytosanitary Affairs, and vice president of the International Organization for Animal Health, on which I use the opportunity to congratulate on behalf of the Center and my personal name. Please applaud Mrs. Vesna Dakovic.
Dear Professor, dear colleagues, dear friends, it is my great pleasure to celebrate Food Safety Day in, I must say, my university and within organization of Center of Excellence FoodHub. First ever celebration of World Food Safety Day was back in 2019, and I celebrated it in Slovenia as one of the key speakers in international roundtable organized by Slovenian Administration for Food Safety, Slovenian Ministry of Agriculture and Scientific Society. Topic of my paper presented was essential knowledge and skills on food safety among consumers. The slogan of Food Safety Day in 2019 was "Food safety is everyone's business." Last year, due to the pandemic, Administration for Food Safety of Montenegro celebrated Food Safety Day modestly. Notes with press release putting out importance of roles of each one of us in preserving food safety. Again, I'm so happy that this year I have opportunity to celebrate this day in Montenegro, and especially in my university and in the Center of Excellence. When you have emotion about any work, it should be done with excellence. And I must say, my emotion for this Center of Excellence is high, as well as my expectation. Today, in framework of pandemic, we are more than ever aware of the importance of slogan for Food Safety Day this year. Safe food now for a healthy tomorrow. I always try to explain food safety system. It's really complex, but on concept level, everybody can understand it. We should start with healthy animals and plants. We must have hygienic process of healthy raw materials. Chain of producing food is so long, and there is always possibility for contamination. Since this chain is very long and involves many different participants, it cannot be risk-free. Responsibility is high for everyone in the chain, and all of us must be aware and give all efforts on reducing risk at lowest level as possible. Maybe now we are all more aware about the importance of food safety due to COVID pandemic. We still don't know which animal is source of the disease, but scientists believe it is a zoonotic disease. Why? Because cousins of this virus come from animals, precisely from camel and wild cat. Was it true that because somebody ate but caused this global, not just health problem? We will see. But truth will probably not be very far. I'm really fond and supportive of global concept One Health. World Health Organization, World Organization for Animal Health, and Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations came together in this challenge of the future. Antibiotics change history of humankind. Let's just remember penicillin that saves so many lives. Today we treat animals with antibiotics, eat food originating from those animals, and use same antibiotics in treating human disease. Due to this practice, we significantly reduce number of antibiotics carrying disease due to microorganism resistance. But I also see one wider area for the One Health concept. Human health depends on animal, plant, and environment health. As human population, we are changing natural habits for animals and also for viruses. I'm not environment fanatic. I believe environment only has value when used by human. But we must find equilibrium between environment, plants, animal, and people, and also viruses. We have to find a way to live together and live with viruses because there are so many of them in the nature. This year, at the General Session World Organization for Animal Health, member countries appointed main topic for the future. Two of them are One Health and pandemic preparedness. I ask where is the difference between these two topics? From my point of view, it is the same. All live together in one planet, in one ecosystem. Food safety asks so many questions. I wonder if all of us understand how much research and scientific work should be done in the future. It's a very inspiring area. I gave you just a few ideas to think about. In the meantime, please do not eat anything for which we are not sure that it's safe. I wish all of us successful work in Roundtable today and can't wait to see FoodHub in future activities. Happy World Safety Day. Thank you.
Professor Vesna Marash is the Dean of the Faculty for Food Technology, Food Safety and Ecology, as well as the Director of the Development Department of the company 13 Iul Contaj. Dr. Vesna Marash has directed her previous scientific research activity towards problems in the field of viticulture and ampelography. In previous years, special attention was paid to the study of the highest quality biotypes, Branac and Kratoši. Professor Marash is a member of a Council for Scientific Research in the field of agricultural sciences, regular member of the Academy of Engineering Sciences of Montenegro, Montenegrin expert representative in the Program Committee for the 7th Framework Program of the EU, member of the Commission for Drafting Laws and Regulations on Wine, Alcoholic Beverages, Planting Material, and many other eminent institutions and committees. Dear Professor Marash, please join me.
Distinguished Rector, distinguished representatives of ministries, distinguished guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor and pleasure to greet you on behalf of the Faculty for Food Technology, Food Safety and Ecology. Our faculty is one of the younger faculties at the University of Donja Gorica, and it was established with the mission of safer and higher quality food production in our country. Profession in the field of food safety and food production, as well as environmental protection, are a future that has already begun. In that sense, our university provides the highest quality education for the profession of the future. A great contribution to the highest quality education is given by the modern curriculum, cooperation with the economy, availability of information, and the latest technologies. The process of innovation is continuous. The crown of the contribution, in every sense of the word, was the establishment of the Center of Excellence. FoodHub is a great incentive for our further work and creation of a new environment for the development of the food industry and further improvement on the food safety system in our country. The existence of the center is a big step in becoming a part of the history in the future. It results in benefit for everyone involved in the food production chain, state institutions, consumers, producers, but also the scientific research community. Finally, I would like to emphasize the importance and support of the Center of Excellence for our, not an easy task, education of young staff for the future. In addition to the exceptional results that are already visible, opportunities for young people, our students, is a component of the Center of Excellence that I, as the Dean of the Faculty and Professor, am most proud of. Once again, in Evans, thank you to everyone. It is a great pleasure to attend this event. I wish everyone a lot of success and a productive discussion. Thank you for attention.
She's the ambassador of the Global Harmonization Initiative for Montenegro, the chairman of the Special Harmonization Group and the Task Team Scientific Committees of the European Federation for Food Science and Technology, the chairman of the Working Group for Meat Hygiene within the European Hygienic Engineering and Design Group, and a member of a specialized group for fish processing in the same. Dr. Martinovic has published dozens of scientific papers independently or as a co-author. A chapter in a scientific monograph published abroad, a textbook for pre-university level of education, and a study manual. Recognized as a favorite professor, as extremely active and tireless, with strong leadership skills and a willingness to solve every challenge in the business in the best possible way. Please greet with excellent applause Dr. Aleksandra Martinovic.
Thank you very much, Emil, for this exaggeration. Honorable Rector, distinguished partners, dear colleagues and friends. I'm honored to have this opportunity to talk on behalf of Center of Excellence and UDG on the World Food Safety Day. Food is universal language. It knows no borders. It brings people together. While food safety has never been more important globally, if not before, last 2 years have made it clear to all of us. In a global food system, food safety is everyone's business. We are witnessing that the world is changing in the time when nations combat the danger of COVID-19. With that change comes the clarity, the expertise, the commitment, and responsibility are needed now more than ever before. Burden of the foodborne disease is estimated to 600 million illnesses, 420,000 deaths annually. World Food Safety Day is challenging us again to stand together, to do everything possible to protect food from contamination and to keep consumers safe. In this context, the goal of Center of Excellence, FoodHub, is to encourage innovative and scientifically based development of the food sector, especially in the field of food quality and safety. The mission of the FoodHub is to create innovations in the food sector through research, knowledge transfer, development, and improvement of traditional food and agricultural products and resources. The consortium consists of 12 institutions that jointly build the necessary capacities and encourage the development of the food sector. The goal is to make the area of risk assessment for food safety a strong pillar of healthcare for the entire population, to support sustainable food production in Montenegro by using domestic resources and new technologies. In addition, the consortium aims to improve quality and safety in the food production chain and define quality and safety standards, ranging from protection of geographical origin to protocols and procedures that will guarantee high quality and food safety. The mandate consortium will further address the burning issue of lack of expertise and training in the excellent sciences in Montenegro, such as bioinformatics, molecular biology, genomics, with the permanent strengthening of the food science sector. The planned training programs focusing primarily on young researchers who will be trained in international scientific partner institutions to return the missing knowledge to Montenegro and maintain long-term cooperation with them. FoodHub will have the important mission of improving and assessing the existing strengths of Montenegrin food production and create a critical mass of scientists, companies, and foreign partners with the aim of developing sustainable food production while remaining in line with the EU policies and trends. The aim of the Center of Excellence is to embrace the new era of smarter food safety towards creation of a more digital, traceable, and safer food system. Emerging technologies, such as blockchain technologies, make it easier to track and trace products through the supply chain. The ongoing activities mirror one of the primary lessons from COVID-19, that all of us must work together to stay safe. I'm grateful for the dedication and commitment of the project partners and researchers, since this is the only path forward. Thank you all for coming today. I wish you to enjoy the roundtable presentation and later discussion, and of course, happy World Food Safety Day.
International cooperation and partner support are the guarantee of our success. That support is the crown of our cooperation at the national level, cooperation of all of us who are here today. We have the great honor to be greeted today by the eminent international institutions and partners through an online sessions. A respected Dr. Budimir Plavšić, who will be with us through the event, for which I take the opportunity to thank him, will greet us via Zoom. Dr. Budimir Plavšić is currently International Organization for Animal Health Regional Representative for Europe in Moscow. He is a scientist committed to the protection of animal welfare and implementation of the One Health concept. Currently, he is committed to the coordination of OIE activities, implementation of international standards, and particularly the implementation of One Health with partners in Europe. He was elected Secretary General and Vice President of the OIE Regional Commission for Europe.
Distinguished Professors Vukotic, Maraš, and Martinovic, Mrs. Darkovic, dear participants and colleagues, it was a great opportunity to hear from you during the opening session, really, and I recognize strong capacity in your education establishments to increase your national visibility and to share your best practices with the world, with Europe particularly. As you might know, I'm very aware and deeply involved in cooperation with your food safety system leaders, which is, I will be clear, highly developed and led by Administration of Food Safety, Veterinary and Phytosanitary Affairs, and professional from veterinary and phytosanitary services in the field. And that means that I'm really honored to be on this conference and talking about the country, which I know very well. I'm also deeply honored and pleased to be included in the invited speakers to this audience, which I understand is built from experienced experts from several sectors, having interest in food safety in Montenegro and beyond, out of the country. The people managing also day-to-day operations in the interest of citizens and livestock owners of animals, but also on consumer protection in the country and abroad. If you are practicing One Health every day, One Health is the word I'm going to mention several times during the day. In today's world, frequent disruption of food production and distribution system, more frequent contact between wild animals and urban populations, and regular communication and contacts between animals and humans, and more interconnected global community in this hyper-globalized environment can lead to health challenges spreading worldwide. And we faced that in the last several decades, from when, I think, mid-90s, food safety started to be center of attention of policymakers, of governments, and also other institutions because of need to control human health and to manage risks connected to this. That is why food safety is still and should continue to be on the top priority for policymakers, for governments, scientists, institutions, research organizations, universities, last but not least. This is why I'm so delighted that UDG and Center for Excellence organized this roundtable exactly on Food Safety Day and invited us from the OE to attend and to contribute, if we could contribute on the possible way, not only with technical expertise and sharing our international standards we developed in coordination with 182 countries, but also with cultural and anthropological aspects underlined by Professor Vukotic earlier today, or technological aspects, including IT and blockchain, mentioned by Professor Martinovic as well. Those we really promote very much. As you maybe know, our organization will celebrate 100 years in 2024. So from the beginning, organization was established just because of spreading of disease. That time it was during the past horrible disease of only animals, but we care now on zoonotic disease. And I need to speak about zoonotic disease because that is the leading factor for a risk to any business and any aspect of food safety and food security, of course. In the case of pandemic, billions of dollars in prevention which we should spend are worth trillions of dollars or euros for the cure which we faced in last half a year. As reported, countries, influential stakeholders, institutions have largely failed to take preventive actions, despite clear evidence of need following the SARS and avian influenza outbreaks in last 1.5 decades. I've not mentioned Spain flu, mentioned by Professor earlier, but this is clear in our evidence. The consequences, however, are very clear, and the world is now paying the price for failing to take advantage of past opportunities to make prevention as a priority. And the core message from my side is prevention is better than a cure, as we say also in our countries, Balkans. Therefore, we have to translate this simple insight into effective action that saves lives and economies to protect nature and humanity. From my point of view, keywords are One Health. Earlier it was One Medicine, now it is One Health, covering health of animals, environmental contributors, and humans. So they are very interconnected and we cannot make any separation. On the global level, what we are doing is we develop One Health partnership with WHO and FAO called tripartite organizations. And a few days ago, UNEP, United Nations Environmental Program, joined us to contribute our efforts for the global One Health agenda. However, in April this year, basically less than 2 months ago, with the regional offices of FAO and WHO, I, on behalf of OE, signed a joint statement of creating One Health mechanism in Europe to lead activities related to prevention and control of zoonotic diseases, antimicrobial resistance, and pandemic threats. And you are invited to participate. Your colleague, respected Mrs. Duck, which is in the center of those activities, I would say, as a member of the member country of our region. And we send a strong message on full commitment of our organizations to implement joint global vision throughout the whole region, which is for us, of course, Europe, but we go beyond globally, with national public health authorities and veterinary systems that are ready to and capable for prevention, detection, containing, and elimination of animal and public health risks, with zoonotic potential, with very important impact on food security and overall stability, because without food security and food safety, we will have different aspects of instability, including social and political, and to ensure base for production of safe and healthy food for the whole humanity, for the whole nation, and for all people and animals, where nobody was like, tell you what does One Health require. That requires multilateralism. As we talk, COVID has killed more than 3.5 million people, I think, and it has plunged the world into a recession that is likely to get worse and set us back decades in the fight against poverty and diseases. And I think they said in 15 months, we moved back 25, 30 years, just last year, from the beginning of the last year. In the same time, dear colleagues and participants, we have another pandemic, which is antimicrobial resistance, but going somewhere under radar, silent and often undetected, but kills a lot of people. We put on the top of our priority list this item, and we encourage our partners, members, and you, dear professors and students, industry representatives, to jointly fight it. Otherwise, we will face consequences. It is obvious that there is no such thing as a national solution for a global crisis, and that durable control is only possible through international multilateral approach. The only way is to do it through collaborative response, and we really recognize and thank you again that you put us in agenda for this online session, International Perspectives. Later, if possible, during the discussion, I will mention a few aspects regarding collaboration. Here, I would like to say a few words only about science and education, which are essential. And we collaborate with all education establishments, but also public health establishments and different academia for continuous training, and we provide traditional support to national veterinary services for the training and also for the industry. But this is just a good start. We need to improve that in the future. Now we should actively work with governments, international organizations, global, regional, and national leaders, member countries, stakeholders, institutions, scientists, to build a robust international and national health architecture to protect the world and countries from future pandemics. We know that we will face future pandemics. We don't know when and which diseases, but they will come. And to commit countries to better prevent and better tackle diseases such as COVID or SARS or MERS, Ebola, influenzas, and other diseases, or whatever new health risks lurk beyond the horizon. We must foster an inclusive approach that brings together governments and society to respond to the future crisis more effectively. This includes championing One Health, a concept which underscores the interdependence of animals, humans, and their environment when it comes to health. These are core of every food safety system, and we would appreciate very much your further work on that, and we'll be open for collaboration with you anytime. Thank you very much.
Dr. Mina Brajovic completed her law studies in Podgorica and her master's degree at the University of Cambridge, United Kingdom. She completed her doctoral studies in Ljubljana at the Faculty of Medicine. Dr. Mina Brajovic is the head of World Health Organization, WHO, country office in Montenegro since its establishment in April 2008. She is responsible for driving the WHO response to the country needs. She supports policy making for sustainable health development by providing guidance, building up local relationships to implement technical cooperation, making standards and agreements, and ensuring that public health measures are coordinated and in place during crisis.
Na samom početku želim da se zahvalim Centru izvrsnosti za digitalizaciju procjene rizika u oblasti bezbjednosti hrane i preciznu sertifikaciju autentičnosti prehrambenih proizvoda na pozivu da u ime Svjetske zdravstvene organizacije pozdravim učesnike današnjeg okruglog stola povodom obilježavanja Svjetskog dana bezbjednosti hrane. Procjenjuje se da u europskom regionu Svjetske zdravstvene organizacije svake godine više od 23 miliona ljudi oboli, a 5.000 ljudi izgubi život zbog konzumiranja nebezbjedne hrane. Za Crnu Goru nemamo tačne podatke o opterećenju bolestima koje se prenose hranom, ali znamo da one pogađaju hiljade ljudi svake godine. Bezbjednost hrane temeljni je element dobrog zdravlja i od suštinskog je značaja za održivi razvoj i ciljevi održivog razvoja pozivaju na djelovanje da bi se okončalo siromaštvo i glad i da bi se poboljšala ishrana, a u isto vrijeme promovisala održiva poljoprivreda kako bi se postigla sigurnost u količinama dostupne hrane. Zato je potrebno da svi ljudi imaju pristup bezbjednoj, nutritivno kvalitetnoj i dovoljnoj količini hrane u svakom trenutku. Posljednjih godina na bezbjednost hrane u Crnoj Gori utiču nova dešavanja, koja su promijenila uslove pod kojima se hrana proizvodi, prerađuje, prodaje, kupuje i konzumira. Globalizacija prehrambenog lanca je vrlo intenzivna. Navike potrošača su se promijenile, a uvoz i izvoz hrane je porastao. Povećana složenost i internacionalizacija prehrambenog lanca povećava rizik širenja nebezbjedne hrane preko državnih granica i utiče na način na koji upravljamo rizicima u oblasti bezbjednosti hrane. Pandemija COVID-19 sa kojom smo suočeni donijela je dodatne izazove za potrošače, proizvođače hrane i organe vlasti nadležne za bezbjednost hrane. Ti izazovi uključuju potrebu da se implementiraju mjere za kontrolu i smanjenje rizika od prenošenja COVID-19 u prehrambenim preduzećima i potrebu za alternativnim aktivnostima kontrole hrane u situacijama kada na uobičajeno poslovanje utiče zaključavanje i mjere u oblasti javnog zdravlja. Bezbjednost hrane je složeno pitanje jer upravljanje rizicima uključuje mnogo sektora i subjekata. Ako neki sektor ili subjekat djeluje sam, mala je vjerovatnoća da će dovesti do značajnih poboljšanja u oblasti bezbjednosti hrane. Više subjekata mora da radi zajedno i da koristi jedinstveni pristup zdravlju One Health Approach. U regionu Europe i Centralne Azije Svjetska zdravstvena organizacija je zajedno sa partnerskim agencijama pokrenula regionalni koordinacioni mehanizam One Health. Ovaj mehanizam ima za cilj da preuzme lidersku ulogu definisanjem strateškog pravca, okupljanjem subjekata i partnera te koordinacijom djelovanja i tehničke podrške. sve sa ciljem da se podrže države i da u njima se postigne najveći mogući uticaj. Prema ciljevima održivog razvoja i programu rada Svjetske zdravstvene organizacije za Evropu za period 2020-2025. godina, Svjetska zdravstvena organizacija je posvećena jačanju saradnje sa Crnom Gorom na poboljšanju bezbjednosti hrane. Današnji skup ističe važnost bezbjednosti hrane za dobro zdravlje i održivi razvoj Crne Gore. Želim vam uspješan rad. Hvala na pažnji.
Dr. Hub Leleveld is the president of the Global Harmonization Initiative, a non-governmental organization working towards globally harmonized and science-based food safety regulations. He's a member of the executive committee and past president of the European Federation of Food Science and Technology, founder and past president of the European Hygienic Engineering and Design Group. He has been an editor of many books on food hygiene, food safety, and food processing technologies. He has also written an array of chapters for such books, as well as hundreds of articles in peer-reviewed scientific journals and relevant magazines.
Good afternoon, everybody. The World Food Safety Day aims to draw attention and inspire action to prevent, detect and manage foodborne risks, contributing to food security, human health and more. This year's theme, Safe Food Today for a Healthy Tomorrow, stresses that production and consumption of safe food has immediate and long-term benefits. The activities of the Global Harmonization Initiative, GHI, are aimed at providing everybody in the world with enough food that is safe to eat. That is why it is important to know what GHI is and what GHI does to address food safety risks in other ways than other organizations. GHI is the only scientific organization in the world addressing food safety and security that is fully impartial. No one in GHI is representing an industry or government. Neither does GHI accept financial support from governments or industries. To make it possible for scientists from everywhere on the globe to join, there is no membership fee. To join GHI, the only requirement is that applicants are motivated, conscientious scientists in the food-related field. GHI addresses fundamental problems that must be solved to improve food safety and food security. For instance, GHI produces education material that is suitable for people who cannot read, so that they will know what to do and what not to do, to make sure the food they sell, serve and eat will not cause illness. To avoid that healthy food is wasted, GHI helps to remove false information about food safety by explaining, for example, when substances in food can be toxic and when not. GHI provides scientifically correct facts about food processing so that food is not wasted by misinformation about technologies that have been developed to make food safe. Listing what the currently 17 working groups of GHI do may be boring, and that information can be found on the website. Therefore, I highlight a few recent developments aimed at making some malpractices more difficult or impossible. Malpractices do not happen every day, and most employees working in the food chain who are responsible for food safety can do their work without hindrance, and if they find something wrong, measures are taken to prevent incidents. As with everything, however, there are the rare exceptions that can cause significant harm to consumers. They may be rare, but they still happen too often. Staff are pointed towards food safety when reporting that something is wrong, may be told by their boss or their employer to shut up. If the person then persists that something is irresponsible, the result may be that dismissal and business goes on as intended, as if nothing has happened. Nobody finds out, even not if as a result there are consumers suffering from food poisoning, sometimes with fatal cases. GHI proposes globally agreed regulations that make it impossible to fire the member of the staff who is responsible for food safety. And in March this year, a proposal for the legal requirement of a food safety officer, a food safety professional, in food companies has been made public. The officer should have been certified, meaning to have got a qualified education for the position. A company should not be allowed to operate without a certified food safety officer. More or less similarly, any employee, may be fired when reporting that something is wrong and unsafe and may seriously harm consumers. The employer does not want to lose money by stopping a production or using more expensive but safe ingredients, or by recalling a product that is already on its way to the retailer. The consequences for a whistleblower can be severe, and often the whistleblower is losing everything, including job and income, reputation because of disloyalty to the employer, etc. This may prevent whistleblowers from reporting. Therefore, GSI has developed an anonymous incident reporting website that has been launched and will be translated in many languages. The site will enable reporting in such a way that it is not possible to identify the report. It is intended only for reporting seriously food safety incidents, nothing else, to prevent unnecessary suffering and deaths. Hopefully I have inspired you to visit the GSI website and join as a motivated, conscientious scientist, wanting to improve the availability of safe food for all consumers, wherever they are. That website is www.globalharmonization.net. Thank you for listening.
Dr. Shi Chunlei received her PhD on biomedical engineering, biotechnology at Shanghai Jiaotong University in 2006. Since then, she has worked as a lecturer and associate professor in the Department of Food Science and Technology at Shanghai Jiaotong University. Her research interests focus on the prevalence, resistance, and stress survival of foodborne pathogenic bacteria on food chain from farm to fork. She has presided over 15 research projects, published 78 papers, and participated in compiling 5 books. She has also taken part in applying 25 patents and received the first prize of the Excellent Young Teacher Reserve Talent of Shanghai Jiaotong University in 2009.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chunlei Shi, a professor working on food safety from Shanghai Jiaotong University of China. It is my great honor to be involved in the establishment of FoodHub. I am very pleased to have the chance to work with Dr. Martinovich together. World Food Safety Day is coming, with an estimated 600 million cases of foodborne illnesses annually. Unsafe food is a great threat to human health and economies. An estimate 420,000 people around the world die every year after eating contaminated food, especially those children under 5 years old. Today is International Children's Day. I feel very sorry for those suffering children. World Food Safety Day is an opportunity to strengthen efforts to ensure that the food we eat is safe, mainstream food safety in the public agenda, and reduce the burden of foodborne disease globally. Under the theme Food Safety Everyone's Business, the action-oriented campaign promotes global food safety awareness and calls upon countries and decision makers, the private sector, civil society, and all the general public to take action. I think this is why we should sit together to discuss the possibility to collaborate deeply to contribute to the science and technology development for food safety. From my part, I am interested in the risk assessment of foodborne pathogenic bacteria throughout the whole food system. There are some differences of food system between China and Montenegro. I believe this is a great breakthrough point to set up the collaboration to find the impact of these differences to food safety. Hope to visit FoodHub soon. Looking forward to having you in Shanghai as well.
Dr. Drago Marojevic is Engagement and Scientific Cooperation Officer at European Food Safety Authority, EFSA, responsible for coordination of EFSA pre-accession programs for the candidate and potential candidate countries, and for coordination of the EFSA cooperation with the EU neighborhood partner countries. Prior to his current position, Drago worked as an EFSA focal point for Montenegro at Directorate for Food Safety, Veterinary and Phytosanitary Affairs.
Hello, good afternoon to all the participants in the roundtable. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to address you on the occasion of the third World Food Safety Day. Food safety is EFSA's daily job, but it's everyone's business to consider food safety now and in the future if we want to limit the impact of the climate change and to build sustainable global food systems for the benefits of the producers, consumers, and the environment. Food safety is a shared responsibility, and EFSA is celebrating the third World Food Safety Day on 7th of June together with our national, European, international partners, including the UN sponsors Codex Alimentarius, FAO, and WHO. Acknowledging the importance of food safety with a dedicated day is a significant step in the right direction. It marks a commitment entered into by governments across the globe to prioritize and raise awareness of food safety. We are united in working to raise awareness of this vital issue and inspire action that helps to prevent, detect, and manage foodborne risks, contributing to the food security, human health, economic prosperity, agriculture, market access, tourism, and sustainable development. There is no doubt that safety is a shared responsibility. Cooperation not only helps to share the workload and the necessary resources, but also provides a network to share information and best practices so that everyone in Europe and beyond can benefit from the standards set by the EU food safety system. I would like to use this opportunity to inform you that European Union agencies, including EFSA, are contributors to the EU instrument for the pre-accession assistance program. This program is supporting EU agencies by allowing them to carry out preparatory measures with the IPA beneficiaries in view of their participation in these EU agencies upon membership or earlier. This support aims as well at the knowledge transfer and capacity building in the area of expertise of the EU agencies. Through the EC-IPA grant, EFSA has been working with the EU pre-accession beneficiaries since 2006. EFSA supports the IPA beneficiaries in building scientific expertise, sharing methodologies, and the harmonization of data collection. This enhances the capacity of IPA beneficiaries to generate scientific advice and perform data analysis, as well as their preparedness to face food safety crises and issues of mutual concern. These activities cover the full range of EFSA's remit, and EFSA is committed to continue supporting the EC in delivering these objectives. We believe that it's crucial to progressively increase the involvement of IPA beneficiaries in EFSA scientific activities and to build capacity and expertise to contribute to the EFSA's work before and after the accession. I want to take this opportunity to express my appreciations towards you and wish you a happy World Food Safety Day 2021. I wish you good luck for all your future endeavors, and I'm looking forward to our future cooperation. Thank you.
Dr. Werner Rupic is a principal expert in the field of whole genome sequencing and a senior expert in Austrian Agency for Health and Food Safety. Since 2018, he is a member of study groups of European Society of Clinical Microbiology and Infectious Diseases, and since 2017, a supervisor of a European Center for Disease Prevention and Control Fellowship Program. Since 2007, he is a member of European Network of Excellence for Sequence-Based Typing of Microbial Pathogens, and since 2005, research scientist and group leader at Institute of Medical Microbiology and Hygiene, Group Molecular Biology, at the Austrian Agency for Health and Food Safety.
Dobar dan, Montenegro. I appreciate this invitation from UDG and the Center of Excellence FoodHub on the occasion of the World Food Safety Day 2021. My name is Werner Rupic. I'm a principal scientist for whole genome sequencing and leader of the whole genome sequencing task force at the Austrian Agency for Health and Food Safety. Food safety is a global challenge, and in order to properly address it, all countries need a functional surveillance and testing infrastructure. Therefore, the initiatives of UDG and the Center of Excellence are of utmost importance to improve food and consumer safety in Montenegro. Similar to your initiative, in Austria, the Agency for Health and Food Safety was founded in June 2002 with the aim to provide safe and high-quality food and the healthy nutrition for all Austrian citizens. AGES ensures human, plant and animal health following the farm-to-fork principle. Our work is done through scientifically based risk analysis to ensure the highest possible levels of health, food safety and consumer protection within our sphere of influence. We evaluate risks, conduct risk communications, and give risk management recommunications. To successfully achieve this goal, and in contrast to most other countries, AGES unifies under one roof or under one umbrella the different divisions for food safety, food security, animal health, public health, bioinformatics, statistics, risk assessment, knowledge transfer, and applied research. The agency has 1,500 employees, leads 80 reference laboratories, 16 special laboratories, 3 BSL-3 laboratories, and we analyze around 1 million samples per year to make this important mission possible. Following the latest technological trends, we have established whole genome sequencing for surveillance and outbreak investigation of foodborne pathogens in 2015. In 2019, AGES was among the 3 European Union countries with an established and functional whole genome sequencing-based surveillance system for foodborne pathogens. The collaboration with UDG started in 2020 with a small innovative whole genome sequencing project analyzing bacterial isolates from traditional Montenegrine cheese. Since the aim of AGES is always to transfer new knowledge to our partners, colleagues from UDG were already involved in whole genome sequence data analysis. And from my side, I hope that soon, if the situation allows, I can welcome you in our lab for a more intense whole genome sequencing training so that you can use this technology in the near future by yourself. Considering the challenges caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and the short period we worked together, our collaboration was already very successful, with 1 published paper, 2 submitted papers, and 1 paper in preparation in peer-reviewed journals. So I'm looking forward to have new common research initiatives in the future between UDG and AGES, since there are similarities between Montenegro and Austria, not only in the size of the countries, we are both small countries, but also because of a similar natural landscape, a similar traditional food production, and our joint historical background. So I think that both countries can learn and benefit from common future food safety research and collaboration activities. For today, I wish you a successful roundtable session and all the best for the future. Voila, have a nice day. Goodbye.
To have support, to have such an excellent support is our great strength. On behalf of the Center of Excellence, I would like to thank to all representatives of these excellent institutions and our excellent partners for their time, support, and help. Thank you once again. Our next activity is roundtable discussion. The panelists at this roundtable, like everyone you have had a chance to see and hear so far, are excellent. I have the great honor and pleasure to greet our dear panelists, Mrs. Ana Velimirovic, Mrs. Snežana Pavlović, Slavica Pavlović, Mr. Tomo Popović, Mrs. Bojana Mališić, Mrs. Snežana Bayraktarović-Labović, and Mrs. Radenka Krsmanović-Vifen. Dear panelists, please take your seats. Montenegro can commend of an efficient food safety system. Such a system was created thanks in the first place to the work and efforts of Directorate for Food Safety, Veterinary and Phytosanitary Affairs. Please greet in front of this institution our dear Ana Velimirovic, who will talk about food safety management in Montenegro.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to be here today and celebrate with you Food Safety Day. I'm here on behalf of the Administration for Food Safety, Veterinary and Phytosanitary Affairs, the State Authority for Food Safety. We celebrate Food Safety Day in order to bring attention and inspire action to prevent, detect and manage food risk and contribute to food safety, human health and economic prosperity. As Professor Martinovic already mentioned, it is estimated that 600 million people worldwide, almost 1 in 10, get sick after eating contaminated food, and 420,000 die each year. 40% of those infected with foodborne disease are children under the age of 5, with 125,000 deaths each year. Foodborne diseases negatively affect socioeconomic development, burden health system, and damage national economies, tourism, and trade. But what makes food safe? According to Montenegrin food safety law, food is considered safe if it's not harmful to human health, if it's suitable for human consumption, and if it's used properly. Food safety is determined in each phase of production and trade, handling and storage, until sale to the final consumer, ending in our homes with preparation and consumption of food in accordance with its purpose. Data provided to the consumer, which include the declaration and other information available, must assist to prevention of adverse effects of certain types of food on human health. The administration prepares legislative framework, controls fulfillment of requirements prescribed by law, develops and implements science-based annual control plans, monitoring and crisis management plans, inspects food business operators, and decides to issue or revoke approval to FBOs. The administration, established in 2016, managed to develop a well-organized functional system in the last 5 years, and this is not a biased opinion, but opinion driven from the stable epidemiological situation regarding foodborne diseases, as well as daily implemented controls and ad hoc actions in domestic production and food imported to Montenegro. A huge step forward has been made in Chapter 12, Food Safety, Veterinary and Phytosanitary Policy, primarily through transposition of European legislation and implementation of numerous food monitoring and control plans. Our producers have export numbers and the opportunity to place their products on the EU market. Starting from healthy plants and animals, processing, transport, and placing food on the market, any link failing in this chain can lead to unsafe products. As the national focal point for EFSA, European Food Safety Authority, I would like to highlight the very successful cooperation between this body and the administration. All our success and results achieved are based on our continuous communication, project implementation, data exchange, capacity development, aiming to develop functional food safety system. What I would especially like to emphasize, because of the institution we are in today, is that science is the basis for the efficiency-driven food safety system. In the EU, the role of risk assessment is given to EFSA scientists and the management to the state food safety authorities, making these two roles separated, which has proven to be very effective in protecting consumers. EFSA conducts risk assessment and is true due to scientific evidence, taking into account all available knowledge when providing advice to risk managers. This model is also adapted in Montenegro, which is reflected in the successful and permanent cooperation of our scientific research institutions with state administration bodies and decision makers. Although we are still not a new member state, the risk assessment conducted by EFSA is the basis for food safety risk management in Montenegro. Data collection is the pillar for EFSA activities, as it provides scientific evidence needed to conduct risk assessment. Data collection and harmonization allows comparing the situation in different countries, monitor trends within each country and within the European continent. Given its importance, there is space for improvement both in EU member states and in our country. Our country is contributing to EFSA risk assessment by providing data on zoonosis, foodborne diseases, residues of veterinary medicines, pesticides, and animal health. The Montenegro their partnership in EFSA EU menu project, aiming to establish a common database on food consumption that will improve the consistency and reliability of the closure assessment carried out by the various EFSA panels and other experts in Europe. Consumer responsibility also plays a very important role when food safety is at stake. Let's not forget that 60% of foodborne diseases actually emerge in our homes due to inappropriate handling. This segment should be improved through various communication tools. We also encourage citizens to report all irregularities they notice within the competence of administration. Through this behavior, the citizens demonstrate responsible approach and strengthen food safety system. Finally, it is important to emphasize that effective results in the field of food safety cannot be achieved independently, but only through the exchange of data and knowledge between all stakeholders. Overcoming established and future food risks with the aim to protect human, animal, and environmental health is the common goal of all of us. Thank you, and let me just add that I hope that this roundtable will become tradition in celebrating Food Safety Day.
The Chamber of Economy of Montenegro is making great efforts to raise the awareness of producers and consumers about the importance of food safety. Thanks to their efforts, the ambience has been significantly improved in this regard. But what is the real situation and what is the significance of the Chamber? We will hear more from our respected panelist, Mrs. Slavica Pavlovic, Director of the Sector of the Association, to the topic Food Safety, Culture and Consumer Awareness.
Good day everyone, and thank you Center of Excellence for the invitation to participate in this roundtable. And I come from the Chamber of Economy, but before I'm going to speak as a representative of the Chamber, I just want to give my brief personal review. Namely, almost 20 years I work in the fishery sector, and I can say that I was directly involved in this issue of food safety. And in relation to the beginning of 2000, the administration has done a great job so that we can all be aware of what food safety is and how much responsibility we have all together, especially when that responsibility is transferred to the producers. At the beginning, it was all difficult, but thanks to the enthusiasm and dedication of our good colleagues from Food Safety Administration, today we can say that we have done a lot. From the beginning, the Chamber of Economy of Montenegro was involved in more or less all activities in order to inform companies about the new requirements that they must meet regarding to the food safety. The Chamber of Economy of Montenegro is an independent business professional and interest organization of all companies, including food agriculture companies, that achieve their rights through the Board of Association, in this case through the Board of Association for Agriculture and Food Industry. The board cooperates with all institutions and organizations that directly or indirectly deal with matters related to agriculture and food production, as Ministry of Agriculture, Administration for Food Safety, Veterinary and Phytosanitary Affairs, Biotechnical Faculty, Faculty of Food Technology from UDG. The activities of the board, among other things, are monitoring business and providing assistance in solving current issues of agriculture and food industry, as well as regularly informing companies about all changes in the legislative framework in this sector, including food safety. In recent years, numerous seminars, conferences, roundtables, trainings on the topic of food safety was organized within the Chamber of Economy of Montenegro. Namely, companies from agro-industry had the opportunity to get acquainted, among other things, with standardization in the field of food products, preconditions and CASA principles, guidelines for the implementation of basic regulations on food hygiene, and experiences of other countries and negotiation process with EU in this area. Just 10 days ago, Chamber of Economy, in cooperation with the Directorate Food Safety, Veterinary and Phytosanitary Affairs, organized training on food safety requirements during the procurement, preparation and serving of food, which was attended by 173 employees in the hotel and catering sector. Based on the experience of our administration from previous seasons, as well as on the basis of preliminary controls in some open hotels, it was noticed that there are a large number of irregularities in hotel kitchens, restaurants, or irregularities in food preparation, maintenance, and hygiene preparation. Given to that, we can lead to major public health problems. The Food Safety Authority has initiated the organization of this trend. What should worry us, and I think it is still a problem, is the problem of so-called double standards, because it happens that, especially with agricultural producers, they have products for themselves, for their household, and products for market. And this is not only the case when it comes to food safety, but also the quality of products. I remember when the Center for Consumer Protection 2018 organized a conference on the same topic, one expert, I think from Lithuania, said that in the European market we have the same situation. When it comes to quality, there are double standards, because it happens the same products from the same manufacturer are offered of different quality for different markets. So here we can also talk about the morality, ethics of producers, and especially how good our controls are. Because as in all areas, the problem of all is the lack of appropriate controls and penalty policy. I can say that from also my previous job. To conclude, a lot has been done, it is still being done, and still needs work. The Chamber of Economy will continue to take an activity part, and it is available for any support, as for administration, as well for scientific community. Thank you very much.
The University of Donja Gorica, with all its activities, has been pointing out the importance of digitalization for years. Digitalization has solved many problems that civilization has faced, greatly facilitating people's lives. We are solving the dilemma of whether digital transformation is the answer to the challenges of the industry with a professor from our university, Dr. Tomo Popovic.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to this roundtable discussion. I was looking at the questions that you sent me for this panel, and I always, in this roundtable, would like it more to be like a discussion than just us presenting, but this is kind of just the beginning of these discussions that we will have. More of them will come. One of the topics here, or the title of this roundtable, is Path to a Healthy Nation. And the part that I'm supposed to talk about is the digital transformation, the answer to the industry challenge, which I will try to answer right away. It really depends. It's just the part of the equation, and I think the raising the awareness of the whole society and inclusion of domain experts is critical to implement and make progress with digital transformation in this domain. It's interesting that when you talk about digital transformation, even the definition of it, everybody has their own version. So sometimes even people coming from information technology are not agreeing about it fully. But it's fairly simple. The idea is how can we use the information technology, digital technology to improve existing business processes and everything that's business models that we use every day. The other thing is, can we utilize this technology in a way that we can create new business models and some new business processes? And this word transformation is critical. We have to understand if we use technology, can we make some radical innovation, some dramatic change, actually transformation of what we are doing. In our everyday life, I mean, we are all part of the digital transformation in whatever we are doing. When we talk about industry, we have several, issues and challenges. One is how to digitalize the business that we do, and this is just the first stepping stone. Do we have data collection? Do we have sensors we need to have in place? Do we have computers? Do we convert our data to digital format? But that's still not fully transforming the whole process. The idea is, can we really put this technology to work for us to achieve some higher goals than just transferring data and converting data from one format to another? So you will find in the industry challenges that we still don't have like the basic digital tools being in place. And then you will find the situation where people are way ahead of what we even think about. One great example in Montenegro is tourism. I mean, we talk about small vendors or people, individuals trying to do work in tourism. They're using platforms extremely well in the last few years because the platforms are good. They see the clearly benefit of them, and I'm talking about Airbnb and Booking.com. Every village in Montenegro, if you go, if there is some hole in the wall, it's on Booking.com, and it works. The same principle has to be implemented in this food safety and risk assessment, digitalization process. It is very hard to expect the domain experts to tell us, people from IT, how to digitally transform their business. And it's also very challenging for people from information technology, and information systems to tell them how to, digitally transform. It has to be some sort of synergy, and mutual understanding. I would just mention some key technologies that are, being evolved. One is Internet of Things, the concept where we can get all the things that are part of the context from the problem that we are solving. We can put electronic devices and computers on them. We can put sensors. We can collect data in real time about this context. And then we can, using internet and communication networks, collect all of that data, do several ways of processing, pre-processing data analytics on them in order to generate additional knowledge about the context and the problem we are trying to solve. and then to get to the point where our decision-making process is being enhanced by this augmented knowledge or this new knowledge that we are getting from this information. One of the biggest challenges is, okay, if I give you all this data, how you get this augmented or additional value in the knowledge to make a decision. You can think about a person, working in a bank or, clerk over there, and if you give them, if they operate on 5 or 10 pieces of paper on a single, process, if you give them 100 of papers, are you helping them to improve their process? Probably not. I mean, you are just giving them additional supporting information, but if you somehow pick and choose and get them the exactly right information from these 100 papers that you are giving them, you might be really transforming what they are doing. I know that our time is limited, so I will maybe focus right on the benefits. I mean, benefits are exactly the same as they are in any other business. Can we get some gains? I mean, can we save energy? Can we save resources? Can we increase the yield, or increase the production? Can we have a better efficiency and most importantly, the better quality of these products? And one also aspect of digital transformation, which I think can really help, is raising the awareness about food safety. So utilizing these digital tools to include end users, consumers into this whole process. Of course, I will just maybe conclude with that. It is very important to include domain experts, regulatory, bodies, IT experts, and make this synergy necessary to get to the actual goal of digital transformation.
Blue, green, and economy of other colors. Applicable in all areas and a possible answer to the big questions the world is facing. The University of Donja Gorica is implementing a large number of multidisciplinary projects aimed at solving problems in the field of environmental protection. You will have the opportunity to hear from our esteemed and dear colleague, Bojana Mališić, how important the circular economy is and how it is connected with food industry.
First of all, good afternoon to all of you. And first of all, I want to thank you for the invitation to be part of this round table. And I must mention that for me, it is a great honor, first and also the huge responsibility to speak among all of these respectable professors and panelists, and not only from the University of Donja Gorica, but also from the international and the national partner institution that we collaborate with. Firstly, as Amil already told, I will talk about the circular economy, and circular economy today is recognized as one of the solutions to the modern economic and environmental challenges. So, in the first part of my speech, I will talk about and I will try to summarize and explain the general overview about the circular economy. When we talk about the circular economy, and when I research about this topic, I see that this is a high level and it is a hot topic for researchers and practitioners, as it represents a new industrial paradigm for waste generation, for resource scarcity, and also for the sustainable economic growth that aim to overcome some open system paradigms that which is based on traditional take, make, and disposal process. When we talk about the circular economy, I think this is the new way of how to plan, how to use, how to make things within environmental limits, from policy and strategy through projects, activities, services. But this is one part. When I research about this topic also, I think that this is not only the new way how to make and how to, from the material side of creation value added, but I think that circular and the circle is one thing of the shift in a new mindset, how to move away from our linear, from our traditional thinking and from traditional thinking which is dominant from the consumptional and productional approach, take, use, dispose. And I think that both integral parts, which it is new context of this sustainable production and functioning, and also the new mindset, I think that all form this new paradigm of circular economy. And also, all of us are gathered today to the topic of the food. And when we talk about the food, I think this is the impactful thing and impactful topic in all sphere of our life. In circular economy, one specific part is focused on food production, about the supply chain and also the packaging. In that way, I think that I will try to maybe emphasize the important and some main messages how to put in place the food in circular economy. And one thing is, do we need to change in the food system and how it is sustainable, this exciting food system. And I think that changing our food system is one of the most important things we can do to address not only the food, but also the climate change, how to create smart cities, and also to rebuild our biodiversity. And the current food system has fueled urbanization, economic development, and also supported fast-growing population. However, researchers and practitioners concluded together that I mentioned in the first part that this has come at enormous cost, not only for society but also for environment. And one of the opportunities to change the global food system, or some methods we can change, and this conclusion is based also at the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which developed and promoted the idea of circular economy, and that is sourcing food grown regeneratively and locally where appropriate. It is especially related, for the example, urban agriculture, and I suppose, and I'm sure that most of panelists and all guests know that University of Banja Gorica is included and involved. Is a partner institution in one Erasmus Plus project, urban agriculture, and behind the building we are in process of establishing a lab within this field. Also, the second one is designing and marketing healthier food products and also making the most of the food. I think that these three ambitions we can split in some other activities that we can include in circular economy, such as that organization can minimize waste by optimizing manufacturing process through better technology and workforce training. Also, Professor Tomo will a bit talk about this. And also the companies can explore changing food design and marketing, the recycling food that will usually be wasted back into the production line. But I think that change to make the food and beverage industry more circular rather than linear will need a collaboration between all of us, and I think the networking, which all panelists and all guests also mentioned in their speech. And at the end about this topic, I want to emphasize that maybe moving to a circular economy is all about creating a circle where you design out waste and pollution by keeping products and materials in use for as long as possible, and finding ways how to create new resources from what you discard. Thank you.
Montenegro's food safety system has another very important component, another new strength, the strength of the science research community. The FoodHub service is a support to producers, consumers, and competent authorities. We will have the opportunity to find out through the presentation of Dr. Radenka Krsmanović-Lifen, Deputy Director of FoodHub, about the importance of project approach and education in the field of food safety. Radenka, the floor is yours.
I will just briefly explain. When we are talking about project approaches, of which FoodHub is a good example, then that really has three elements, and those are first the holistic element, second the innovative element, and third what we might term the responsive or collaborative element. So when we talk about the holistic element, food safety, we already heard what about that, is a huge integrated topic, and there are lots of stakeholders, as you can see from the panel that we have today and our guests. We need to approach it on a broad spectrum or a wide picture basis. In my view, there have been too many initiatives in the past that were too narrowly based, or that were focused only on one specific element of food safety. At FoodHub, where we are interested in examining lots of different factors, from cutting-edge research to consumer needs to supporting farmers on sustainable food production and so on, I think we are very well placed to provide a broad-based conception of the overall scope and role of the actions needed in building a food safety culture in Montenegro. So that's the holistic element, and in order to achieve it, we need an action from all our stakeholders and their expertise, so both partners from Montenegro and abroad. And as a relatively young Center of Excellence, we can learn a lot from different perspectives and their experiences. The second element is obvious. We want to be innovative. What we mean by that is we want research which has a real impact. We hope to find solutions that have social value. So, for example, as one already mentioned, food waste is a major issue, and so one of our areas of research is focused on creating biosensors that will allow monitoring of food, so that we can be sure that the entire food chain is safe and secure at every step of the supply system. That in turn leads to impacts such as reducing food waste by, for example, extending the shelf life, thus ensuring quality and supporting our farmers and consumers. And then the third element is probably what we might term responsiveness or an openness to collaboration. We certainly, in relation to food safety, need a more integrated approach, and so one major element is building networks and sharing best practice so that we can all create a better and more sustainable food safety culture in Montenegro. We have to bear in mind that food safety is a regional and a global issue, not just one for Montenegro. It also matches the EU Green Deal priorities, and of course, it is one of the core societal development goals at the UN agenda. As such, building our collaborative approach and learning from each other and each other's expertise is crucial. In this regard, we might highlight our engagement and work with EFSA, the European Food Safety Agency, and the FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization at the UN, but also our engagement with the Mayor's Office in Podgorica. So we are all active both at the local level and at the global level. And all of this is done in the hope of developing long-term solutions to food safety issues that have real-world impact for people and for society at the local, regional, and even to some degree at the global level. I should also mention that we have created several new partnerships on different projects, and two of them are with the University of Belgrade, one with the Faculty of Chemistry and other with the Lynch Institute of Nuclear Sciences. And also, recently we became a supporting partner of the EU project Food Safety for EU as the only institution involved for Montenegro. We are well aware that networking and sharing best practice is the path to development for a small economy like Montenegro. And I think the second question that I got from Manuel is about how does the project-based approach affect the education that we provide at FoodHub? So I'll just briefly speak on that. So what we really need in terms of education is to provide different perspectives and multidisciplinary expertise. So it's to take advantage of all the talent that's available to tackle this extremely serious issue. Our young people, and we have several of them at FoodHub, they are really brilliant minds, and I'm very proud of them. We are taking care of their career development, so not only in the specialist area, but we are constantly developing their soft transferable skills, as they are extremely important in the 21st century. If we accept that food safety is a multidisciplinary challenge, then we need people who are at home in multidisciplinary environments and situations, and who have the transferable skills to be able to succeed. So, we want to leverage our collaborative partnerships to provide our students with a broad perspective on the issue of food safety. I think we need people who understand the complexity of the modern world and who can also understand not only the research or technical aspects, but also the social, economic, and environmental issues around food safety. So that is the type of broad spectrum training we want to offer to our young researchers.
Human health is largely conditioned by diet, but a lot of information and advice on the topic of healthy and proper nutrition puts people in front of doubts and questions, and trends lead to wrong choices. Their price and the consequences expressed by impaired health oblige us to look at some of the most common misconceptions regarding diet. Our happiness and honor are that we have the opportunity to learn and hear the advice of the best. One of the best is, of course, our dear professor, Dr. Snežana Labović-Bajraktarović. And today we have the opportunity to talk about a very important topic, healthy versus safe food. Professor, floor is yours.
First of all, thank you for invitation to participate on the round table today, and happy Food Safety Day for all of us. And first of all, I want to say that until the beginning of the 20th century, food was seen only as a source of energy, and then by studying the role of the vitamins and minerals to importance of food for many functions in our organism, is understood, and the attitude that food and nutrition are health categories is finally accepted. And all food for human nutrition must meet two conditions. First, food for our consumption must be safe and must be with high biological value. That means that good food is food which are rich in different nutrients, and these two conditions are very important. And we can say that good health and protection from disease is provided only by a balanced, mixed diet that contains all the necessary micro and macronutrients, and which are quantitatively sufficient, qualitatively satisfactory, and of course safe. And food and nutrition are very important determinants of the health of each individual, and at the same time risk factors for non-communicable disease and foodborne disease. And when we talk about food, we can say that food is one very important morbogenic factor, and all diseases related with food we can divide into big groups. First are foodborne diseases, and second are non-communicable diseases related with diet. And fortunately, both groups are preventable. How? Foodborne diseases can be prevented, respected hygienic procedures during work with food, and in this area food handlers have a very important role. But non-communicable diseases which are related with diet, with nutrition, we can prevent it, respected actually recommendation from expert institution, for example, World Health Organization, and we in Montenegro following recommendation by European Food Safety Authority, and this is way to prevent this big group of disease. I want to say that nutrition and foods and food safety are components which have many same characteristics, and for our health, for human health, we can't say one is more important than the other. And for me, from my side,
Immeasurable thanks to our panelists for such an excellent presentations. I believe now everyone is preparing a lot of questions in their head, and I certainly have a lot of them for you, but I wouldn't go into much length, wanting to leave time for our dear guests to ask questions. I have to emphasize and to note that in addition to the questions, you can also ask questions via slider.com, or just you can scan this QR code. I believe that we have a lot of questions there. But for beginning, I will ask if someone from audience has some questions for our panelists. Mrs. Darkovic, please.
Thank you very much. It is not a question, it is just a comment. It was very inspiring. Thank you very much for your discussion. Just one information regarding digitalization, because in food safety system, everything is traceability. So we must know everything, like I said in my speech, everything in food safety system is really on the level of concept very easy to understand, because we need health animals, health plants. We start process of processing of food, and after that we have consumer, even in retail, on a restaurant, whatever. So what we need to do is just actually try to find information from all this part of the chain. Administration for Food Safety, Veterinary and Phytosanitary Affairs in this moment have a project which called Veterinary Information System, and it is a development of such kind of system. So we start with animal, from a laboratory, from all laboratory, actually from Institute for Public Health, UDG laboratory for food safety, from Center for Ecotoxicology Analysis, and also from our specialistic veterinary laboratory, milk laboratory, all laboratories. We will have connection with laboratory information system, and we will know for every animal their health status, quality of milk, or other information what we need to have for the food safety for the consumer. Why it's important? Snezana knows that better than me, because when we have some problem with food, we must go back and find, for example, animal which made that problem. So we must go back to the slaughterhouses, after that to the animal, and see what animal health, what status of health is for that animal. So just information, Montenegro, as well as almost all European countries, because it is some kind of obligatory for Europe, according to European legislation, have veterinary information system, but also our administration have planned to make that system also available for the plants, plant health, and for the householding where people people keeping their plants. So just information for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Zakovic. Any other questions, please? If there are no questions, maybe I will ask some questions. Dear Anna, I will just once again emphasize the importance of the Directorate for Food Safety, Veterinary and Phytosanitary Affairs in this field. And I would like to hear from you, that's not really a question, it's just a comment or your opinion, on compliance of the food safety system in Montenegro with some modern trends and food safety systems of other countries, developed countries, of course.
As I mentioned at the beginning, we are trying to keep up with European standards, and we are actually using EFSA, the European Food Safety Authority risk assessment in planning our food safety system, in developing our food safety system. We, of course, are young administration, we are 5 years old. It's not like from us food safety system began in Montenegro. It existed earlier, but let's say one well-organized and managed food system was started to be implemented from 2016. We have some lacks in our system. Primarily, it's related to human resources, and I'm glad that Professor at the beginning of his speech mentioned that human resources are one of the most valuable points and parts of food safety system. And on the other side, we have now, since we read so much about how well our food safety system is, let's mention some of our deficiencies. The other thing is communication and responsibility of our citizens and consumers. Consumers, actually all of us today, in this digitalized society we live in, we all consider ourselves scientists. We read 1-2 articles, we reach for some information, and we think we know everything. So we are often facing fake news, we are often facing people that consider themselves experts in food safety field. Food safety, let's say, it's really everyone considers himself an expert with really few information they have. So we have to strengthen this part of our food safety system, communication and what are consumers' responsibilities. The third part that I must say it's sad and it's difficult to improve, but we are doing our best. And with Ministry of Agriculture, we developed a system with subsidies that can help our small producers that often have difficulties to keep up with the requirements that we put. But we are really trying with training, with education, with all the system in place to help them to fulfill the requirements we set.
Thank you very much, Anna. Now a question for Chamber of Economy for Mrs. Slavica Pavlovic. It is more than clear that the Chamber of Economy has an important role in this process, but I would like to ask you one question, and that is, how does the Chamber of Economy improve and support all stakeholders and food safety and food production chain? I believe that you have, as you mentioned, a lot of activities in your chamber, but which activities had a mass of results?
It is difficult to answer that all activities is very important for our companies because they know very well that all what prescribe our administration for food safety, veterinary and phytosanitary affairs, they need to meet. And we try to work with them through seminars, round tables, and also to prepare together with our administration some guidelines and to explain them what requirements they need to achieve. And that is from our side main core of our business to prepare them to be competitive and to meet all requirements for food safety.
Thank you very much.
Can I add something?
Yes,
because Bojana mentioned before about circular economy, and now circular economy is fancy story, but they will be important story now. Also, it's important and will be. And the Chamber of Economy is implemented one project about circular economy, and one of the activity to prepare roadmap for circular economy in Montenegro. And 10 days ago we started with that activity together with UNDP. And now I would like to invite representatives of companies and of the scientific community to be together with us when we will prepare a draft of that document to be ready to give us comments, suggestions and advice to improve this document.
Digitalization. Every day we have the opportunity to hear this magical word, but Professor Tomovic, it sounds really more even nicer after your presentation. I would like to ask you, are food business operators in our country ready? And are they aware of the importance and benefits that digitalization will bring?
It is, again, kind of a little bit of a tricky question. I believe they are ready, and they are willing to embrace new solutions and support from technology. But it is not just the food producers, it is the whole ecosystem that we have to provide. And that's not just them, it's also us, as I said, and all of the stakeholders involved. We need to kind of get to the same page and implement it the right way. So sometimes, and you will hear it oftenly, not only in Montenegro, but in the whole region, some of these things are too far away, it's never going to happen here. No, it's happening, and it's happening big time. It's just a question how much or how big part we want to take in that process. So are we going to be part of that process, or somebody else is going to perform digital transformation on us, which is already taking place. So I believe they are ready. They may not be fully aware of everything, but we that sometimes claim that are experts in the field, like information systems, technology, digitalization. We are also not aware of all the benefits and all the right ways how to implement these solutions.
Thank you very much, Professor. I will check once again if the audience has some questions.
Besides the Center of Excellence at PDG, we have Center for Climate Changes. And my question goes, what kind of flow you expect in the field of the climate change in food production, and what can be done together to make things better?
Thank you for the question, and I think a lot of us will have comments on this. Well, we are living in the era when we really have developed countries that have enough food, don't have issue with producing big quantities of food, but have issue with safe food, genetically modified organisms, pesticide residues, and so on. On the other side, we have undeveloped countries. We still have a problem of quantity of foods, so they lack food. Well, what I consider it's a solution, it's all of us to come together and to use scientific knowledge to answer these challenges of the future. Climate change, according to, I think, my opinion, and I don't know if others will agree, is breeding new varieties or breeding new animal races that will be able to answer the challenges of the future. So this is something that can both mitigate the climate change and the risk linked to food safety. So using science for a safer future.
Any other question, please? Okay, then I will continue. Dear Bojana, thank you for this very interesting presentation and for emphasizing the importance of circular economy. I'm sure that this will be discussed even more in our very soon future. And all of the elements that you presented sound so reasonable, preferable, acceptable, but what is happening in reality? And did this paradigm found violent implementation in our country?
I think this is, as I mentioned, this is a new paradigm, and I think it will take time. Maybe one important part is that this is not just circular economy, this is the shift in our mindset. It is just the changing, and for us, all of us, I think sometimes it's very difficult to break up with the traditional way, with the linear way of thinking. But also I must mention that in reality, I know that when I research about this, the latest report of circular economy shows that we even now we use more economic resources instead of less of circular. So I think in the whole world, I think it's 8.6% means that we are circular. But one thing that is encouraging when we talk about circular economy is that Europe adopted first plan for circular economy, I think in 2015, and now it's completed with some financial programs for circular economy. And I must mention one thing that Slavica also, I think, emphasized the Blue Phasma project, which is about circular economy in fishery and aquaculture, and food. The University of Donja Gorica is partner in this project is about the circular economy and in the field of fishery and aquaculture. And I think that all of this will encourage to believe that the next report will cover maybe much higher percentage of this circular thinking and circular economy.
One of the components of the FoodHub, which among others is really important, is and are young researchers and young people, and new knowledge and innovations that they will bring. And thank you for the opportunity to learn more about FoodHub. Radinka, I would like to ask you one question, and that is, are young scientists and young researchers in our country ready to be bearers of change? And what are the young scientists of Montenegro, having in mind that you have worked in many other countries around the world?
So, that's knowing you and Andrea, I think our young scientists are great. So. Now, I think what is the main difference between our young researchers here and those in Western Europe, for example, is that our young scientists are worried about the future, about financial security, I think, more than those in Western Europe. There is maybe less opportunity to do research here. And this is something that maybe higher education institutions and governmental institutions have to take care. So there should be more financial support for young researchers and their career development. And also, but regarding the scientific knowledge, and I think our young researchers are very good. And to prove that, we have very large and excellent scientific diaspora, if you think about it. And I hope that in the future that we will not allow our young scientists to leave, that we will find a way to keep them here, and that we'll turn this brain drain that was common since 90s into brain circulation. So, and I hope now when we are, I think the COVID is over, and we will be able to send our young researchers abroad to have hands-on experience in Germany and Italy and so on. So I hope it will work well.
Thank you very much, Radnika. Professor Labovic, we all need lectures like this. I think that there are magical answers to the questions and problems we as consumers face. And they are the answer and the magic solution and solution for fight we have in preserving of public health. I would like to ask you one important question, and my question is: how and do eating habits of our inhabitants and citizens change, and why?
Thank you. But I first of all want to say that our Faculty for Food Technology, Food Safety and Ecology is conducted two surveys about eating habits in Montenegro, and we expected that these results show us how we eat actually, but for now we knew some facts. For example, people in Montenegro very often skip breakfast, for example, or have 1 or 2 meals a day, or very often exclude some very important macronutrients from diet. And all these examples are very, very dangerous, especially if somebody a long time have the diet as I said. And of course it is very important to changing our eating habits, but for changing we need some protocols, some guidance, some concrete action. And I think that education is a very easy and very simple public health preventive measure, but we need more nutritional experts in Montenegro, and this is one way to better health and to having a nation which are health and good production.
Thank you very much, Professor Labovic. Okay, I will go now to the conclusion. All our joint activities with the support of international partners and institutions are big steps on the path to the excellence. On behalf of the Center of Excellence, the University of Donja Gorica, and on my own behalf, I would like to thank everyone immensely for these excellent steps that we have taken together today. I look forward to all future joint steps. Happy World Food Safety Day. Poštovani svi, pozivam vas da naše druženje nastavimo u studentskom klubu uz poštovanje epidemioloških mjera. Još jednom hvala vam svima i srećan Svjetski dan bezbjednosti hrane.